Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another, very surprising question and answer Saturday. So happy to have you guys come on with us, and let's do the romper room roll call a little bit this morning, making sure Kevin, Jen, Cape Breton, Rosalinda, how are you? Carrie from Nebraska. What's that weather like, Carrie, in Nebraska? Nick from our staff. She's running the show this morning, I think. Beverly, Nativity. Andrea, Niagara Falls. Good morning. Mary. Okay, so some of you folks are ready for Saturday morning. Rosa from Montreal. Jeanette from our staff. Fran, Orangeville. Good morning. Vera, Newfoundland. Eileen, Georgina, Ontario, and Georgie from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Jeanette, bonjour. Wendy from Markham, good morning. Sandy, Perry Sound. Gorgeous, Maryland, PEI. Deb, good morning from Detroit, Motown, Michigan. And Margaret, Sandy, Vancouver, Washington. Well, good morning. And I missed someone there. Catherine, good morning, Parksville, British Columbia. Rosemary, Wanda from Virginia. Donna from Newfoundland, good morning, Donna from Newfoundland. And Wendy from London. Fran from Valcaton. Yolande, bonjour, from Hamner. Bonnie. Annandale, Minnesota. Well, hello. Another Donna. And Jocelyn from Baxter. Catherine, Sherwood Park, Alberta. Hey, Joe. Duncan, BC, bright and early. Lorraine, good morning. Sharon, Alpine, Wyoming. I'd love to get to Alpine, Wyoming. Andrea, good morning. Cheryl, Lydia, Erie, Pennsylvania. Been there. Chantal, good morning. Lorraine, Jean, and Rose from Brampton. Chantal from Hamner, good morning. Karen, Muskoka. Denise, hello Denise, from Banff. You want to talk about God's land right there, Banff, Alberta. Gary, beautiful. Diane, LaSalle, and a couple more. Dale, because we got lots of questions to go through. Shireen, how are you? Sandra, Aurelia. Carol, good morning. We appreciate you. Lise from Sudbury. Shirley from Scarborough. Brian, Poland Spring, Maine. I bet you that's a beautiful place too. Dave, how are you? Bonnie, good morning. Okay, let's get to these questions. A young friend had a brain tumor removed and now has cysts. Looking for any kind of recommendation that may help shrink the cyst. Well, look, first of all, a couple of things. The tumor, whether it was benign or whether it was metastatic, very important to cancer cells need sugar. Tumors look for fat. And the thing is, if you give it DHA, studies have shown 14 days. You'll never hear it on the mainstream. 14 days DHA, it's like an explosion. It destroys the tumor. Now, like I said, good luck with getting that in the mainstream media. But I have a protocol for any kind of cancer, okay? And so let me just give it to you an overall. Here's what I do. Here's what I tell everyone. Cancer, here's what you do. For sure, whether you're doing chemo, radiation, surgery, that's over here, guys. Okay? That's on over here. I'm a big guy on getting your body. I wrote a book years ago. Are you built for cancer? And in that book, I had a protocol to get rid of cancer and to keep it at bay and to do everything you can to get your body on side to fight cancer. What did I give it? Okay, what's my protocol? High vitamin D, high DHA, that specific omega-3, okay, high DHA, keep your insulin down. Insulin is a growth hormone. Insulin makes things grow. Keep your insulin down. That's why I love the reset. 4, keep your estrogen down. Men and women. Doesn't matter. Keep estrogen down. And all these xenoestrogens. We live in a crazy estrogen world. Okay? So that's really important. So that's what I do with my patients, and I still do today. Here's my protocol. And probiotics. Why? Because probiotics will supercharge your immune system. Probiotics are, even if you're taking chemo or whatever, they help to minimize the side effects of those treatments. Plus, they make any medication you take even more effective with less side effects. Now, there, my friend, that is the Martin Clinic protocol. Okay? Now, you can do other things if you want, but I like to keep it simple. I like to be consistent. And that's what you do. Okay, so thanks for the question. Now you're asking the second question about pain and inflammation. Well, look, if you change the diet, you get off the sugars, pain usually inflammatory diet is a high crappy carb diet. That's very inflammatory to the body. Why? Because it keeps insulin, and insulin drives inflammation. Okay? Thanks for the question. We appreciate it. And that was a group member, so we don't have a name here. Grace, the daughter-in-law of my good friend, is a pharmacy technician. Okay? She's wearing a mask at work. I thought I answered this last week. Has a red rash. I feel sorry for people having to wear a mask, even still now. Okay? I don't want to get into the politics of it. And you guys know what I think about wearing your own invisible mask. Okay? That's vitamin A. Eat steak. Okay? Eat steak. Now, if she has a rash, the best thing I find, take out a probiotic. Tell her to do this. Take out a probiotic, open up the capsule, and put it with a little bit of, I like coconut oil. Just a little bit of powder of coconut oil. Put it on the rash. Oil of oregano, either drops or spray or whatever. Put that as a little mixture and put that right on the rash. Amazing what happens. Okay? Amazing. You got some Rivera around? Make a little mixture with the Rivera, which is a powerful antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, good for your skin all around. Okay. Thank you, Grace. Wayne, olive leaf extract, good to lower blood pressure, and is it? And clean arteries? Well, look, I like olive leaf extract, but you got to understand, Wayne, you got to understand where I come from, okay? I'm a formulator. And Tony Jr., okay, Doc Jr. is a formulator. And over the years, you name it, I've tried it. You name it, my patients have tried it. And you have to understand, I was in practice for 46 years. So for what? To get results. So when someone came in with high blood pressure, someone came in with hardening of the arteries, well, olive leaf extract is not something that I found on its own to be that effective. I'm not saying it's no good. I'm just telling you I'm a formulator. Okay? And one thing I know with blood vessels, you better elevate nitric oxide. That's why I am so, nitric oxide opens blood vessels. That is why I am so big on vitamin D, Viderma the Sun, Nabitol, pine bark extract. Listen, pine bark extract. I actually wrote books on it because it was consistent. Elevates your glutathione, elevates nitric oxide, is the most powerful antioxidant, that in coffee, known to man. There's nothing more powerful. So for me, that's, if I have to take olive leaf extract and compare it to pine bark extract, no comparisons. No comparisons. That's me. So I'm not negative. Wayne, I like the question. I really do. But I'm a formulator. And again, I used to, tell people, look, I had to get results. I had to get results. I had people coming to see me from all over, and I mean it, all over the world. I had to get results. And for me, it wasn't fluff. It was, you got problems. I got to do everything I can to help you fix them. Okay, that's where I come from. What test should a doctor give to test cortisol? Well, the best test for cortisol is a urine test, in my opinion. Now, they do different tests. But remember my overarching principle when it comes to testing, too. I like testing? Yep. I did a lot of it. Cortisol was one of the biomarkers I used to test in my office, okay? But remember what I've always said. This goes for cortisol. This goes for TSH in thyroid. It goes for T3 in thyroid. It goes for everything. Symptoms, blood work or urine or saliva or whatever, okay? And you put them together because what's happened in medicine, okay, just generally, what's happened in medicine? They got hijacked. They got hijacked by the pharmaceutical companies, one, and then hijacked by the labs. Doctors who only rely on lab work. I'm not dismissing lab work. I love lab work. You understand? So if someone said Dr. Martin doesn't like lab work, that's not true at all. As a matter of fact, in my new book, Sun, Steak, and Steel, okay, I have a whole chapter in there on the blood work that I like. Because it tells me a lot of things. But I still want symptoms, especially with cortisol, okay? Especially with the thyroid gland, okay? And when you get, ladies, you get your estrogen done and, my estrogen down and that. I want to see the symptoms too, because that's very important that you get a complete picture. Got it? Okay. Thanks for the question, Carol. Mary, when we add Himalayan salt to daily water, is that enough for our daily intake of electrolytes? Well, listen, that's a good, very, very good question, Mary. Because, okay, look, for most people, Himalayan salt, when you add that, what are you doing? You're adding electrolytes, okay? 84 trace minerals. Because that's what electrolytes are. Okay? So, but for some, you might need extra electrolytes. Now, don't go drink that garbage like Gatorade and Powerade and anything like that with the artificial everything. I don't like that stuff. Okay? I really don't. But I do like electrolytes, and some people need more salt than others. If you're getting cramping, if you're dehydrated, see me? I dehydrate very quickly. Okay, for me, I dehydrate very quickly. And when I like working out, but I got to be careful because I dehydrate, and some people do too. And if I don't take care of it, I get cramps. And look, I really haven't had a headache. You know, touch wood. Did you hear my head there? Okay, I haven't had a headache in years. That's because I drink a lot of water and salt. You guys know me. I talk about water and salt. Okay? Because when you look at your cells, okay, you see the cell in your body, okay? In your mind, just picture what I'm saying. Inside the cell, okay, and outside the cell. And you got two bodies of water. And they have to be in balance. You have salty water and less salty water in the cell. And there's got to be a balance there. And a lot of people, they dehydrate very quickly. And when I say they dehydrate quickly, they're losing salt. A lot of times, even with a crappy diet, okay? With a crappy diet, they are losing, when you eat sugar, that really has an effect on the kidneys, and that can really dehydrate a person. Okay? So if you find out for yourself, if you need more salt, add more salt, or you can pick up a good electrolyte to add to your water. Okay? Once a day or whatever, add more electrolyte if you need it. Okay? Thank you very much. Appreciate the question. Mary. Renee, can Dr. Martin talk about AGEs and food? Okay, well, AGEs, A, capital G, E, apostrophe, S, small s. We call it advanced glycated end products. Advanced glycated end product. Leave it to medicine to give you a big word that nobody understands. Okay? What's my job? To make it easy for you to understand. Okay. There's really two types of oxygenation. Okay? Oxygen you can't live without. True or false? Of course you can't. You can't live without oxygen. Okay? Two, but that same oxygen is going to make sure you rust out. Okay? And that's free radical damage, we call it. It's just part of, now, things can make that worse. You can rust out a lot faster. If you smoke, if you drink too much, if you eat bad food, too many chemicals or whatever, that can really create a lot of what we call free radicals and you rust out. Listen, guys, I don't look like I used to when I was 20 years old. Hello? Right? And neither do you. Okay. I looked at a picture the other day of Jane Fonda. Okay? And, I mean, for her age, she looks fantastic. True or false? Yes. But she doesn't look like she was 20. Okay? All I'm saying is we're all going to rust out. You just don't want to rust out quick. Now, on the other side of that, okay, so you have free radical damage, and then you have advanced glycation end products. That is where your muscles, tendons, skin loses its elasticity. How does that happen? Not with steak. You know, they used to, you cook steak. Well, what the heck? You can't eat raw meat. Of course you're going to cook your steak. Don't barbecue it. That's nonsense. Okay? I never bought that. That is a lie. It is so stupid. I just can't get over it. Okay? Now, I'm not saying you got to burn it to a crisp. But all this stuff about that's just so bad for you, it gives you cancer, that's brought to you by the Vegan Society. Okay? And all I'm telling you is, when you eat sugar, and you live on sugar and crappy carbs, you're going to glycate. You're going to, that's why when people get on the reset, it's amazing what happens to their skin. It's amazing what happens to their joints. It's amazing what happens to their tendons. And they noticed it. Why? Because they changed their diet and their glycated end products have gone down. Okay? They've gone down. So that's, Renee, is the answer. It's not meat. Meat never gives you a glycated end product. Ever. It just doesn't. It's sugar, my friend. It's sugar. Okay. I get too excited. And let's see, Nicole, if your blood work is over the max range for B12, should you continue? You don't have to. Look, let me just say something again. You know me and my overarching principles. You like that? B12 is a water-soluble vitamin. Everybody and their dog needs B12. And 80% of the population is low in B12. If it's not, it's higher. And I read a new study the other day that I agree with, because I'd never seen it before, but I agree with the statement. It says, if you got thyroid problems and sluggish, you're low in B12. Oh. So what happens when you're high in B12? You know, other than your doctor screaming, you're high in B12. Oh, you're going to end up in the emergency room. You're going to die. You got high B12. No. But look, if you're over, I like 800 to 1200 on B12. That's sort of my sweet spot range for B12. If you're under it, ain't no good. If you're over it, well, just eat steak. And you don't have to take a B12 supplement. Okay? That's my principle for that. Got it? Okay. Okay. And that was... hold it, who was that? That was Nick. Okay, Martha. On your site, vaginal atrophy. Well, I've never heard of it. Yes, I have, of course. Listen, Martha. Martha, that's what Jesus said. Listen, Martha, listen. Okay? Not only Linda, Martha, listen. No, very common. What's happening? It's a hormonal imbalance. So when the vagina starts to atrophy, you're looking at a hormonal imbalance. Okay? And people think it's estrogen. And I tell them, no. It's estrogen and progesterone. They have to be equal. And yes, estrogen comes down. A lot of menopausal or postmenopausal women find the vagina and the vagina wall to atrophy. The key is not to give it estrogen. The key is to balance it out with progesterone. I love progesterone. Okay? I do. And I find that that is really, really important to get balance back, okay? To get balance back. As a matter of fact, I often put them on a hormonal formula to get that estrogen. You know, think, oh, doc, you're blocking the estrogen. I'm only blocking the extra estrogen. And allowing, with the menopausal formula, to pump up your progesterone. I know. Thanks for the question. Beverly, can Dr. Martin explain the difference between alpha-lipoic acid, which I like, which is in the insulin balance formula? We're revamping that formula, by the way. Okay? We're revamping it. It's a great formula, just going to be better. You've read that, don't mind me, I got a little bit of my sinuses are draining today. I don't know why. I have no idea. Our alpha-lipoic acid. Listen, I've been working with the lipoic acid, alpha-lipoic acid for 30 years or more. Okay, I like it. I'll tell you why I like it. Okay, alpha-lipoic acid. I like it because I had a friend of mine, a colleague of mine, Dr. Richard Passwater. Okay, when I had a radio show, I had him on my radio show. I traveled to France with him to do a conference one time on pine bark extract. He had written a book, and I had written a book, and we became friends. Okay, very, very smart guy. And he was telling me about research that he did on alpha-lipoic acid. Okay. And he said, Doc, I really like it when you combine pine bark extract with alpha-lipoic acid for neuralgia, peripheral, diabetic neuralgia, neuropathy, where they get numbness in their feet and sometimes in their hands. He said, if you combine, and that was coming from him, if you combine pine bark, which I knew all about, and alpha-lipoic acid, he said, tremendous. About the natural alpha-lipoic acid, you know where you get, your body makes, by the way. Okay? Let me just make sure I answer this right. Beverly, your body makes alpha-lipoic acid. Your body makes CoQ10. Your body makes it. Your body makes glutathione, because I got questions about that this morning. Your body makes it. Now, do I like it in supplement form? Sometimes. And especially with diabetic neuropathy. I like it. That's why I put it in the insulin balance. But if you eat a steak, alpha-lipoic acid is in a steak. Why do you think I love steak so much? Red meat has alpha-lipoic acid, and not much else does in nature. Why do you think when someone tells me you don't need meat, I said, what? Come on. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. Is cellulite something we can treat with diet and or supplements? Well, I've seen cellulite get better. Okay, women, men, do we care about cellulite? No, I'm not talking about cellulitis now. I'm talking about cellulite. You know, ladies, when you get cellulite in your legs, okay? And there's all sorts of stuff on TV and all sorts of stuff on the internet and all magic to get rid of cellulite. You know, surgery to get rid of cellulite. You know, am I big on that? Not really, okay? Not really. Ladies, you're beautiful, okay? You're beautiful. Cellulite, you know. Look, I like inside out, okay? Me. I always tell people, you see something on the outside of your skin, you see cellulite, well, start inside. I'm really big on high protein. I'm very big on eggs, meat, and cheese, diet. I'm big on antioxidants and, there's no magic, guys. There's no magic, okay, when it comes to cellulite. There's no magic. I like getting in shape. I like, you know me, and vitamin E, working out, get strong. Is it going to be 100%? Rarely. Okay. Now, that was Denise, Donna. I've done the spit test with progesterone and it's off the charts. Good. Donna, you want your progesterone to be off the charts. I have never, and I mean it because I used to test this all the time in my office. You want high progesterone. Ladies think that the best thing since sliced bread is estrogen because it makes you a woman. And that's true to some extent. But progesterone is the key to balance. It's the key. It's very important. When your cortisol is high, it robs progesterone. So today, in this stress crazy age we live in, women walk around, and I'm telling you, 90-something% of women walk around, and I mean it, and they don't have enough progesterone. So I'm just saying, Denise or Donna, if your progesterone is through the roof, that's not your problem. Now, usually what I found was the opposite. It was progesterone was low and estrogen was up here. Because again, we live in an estrogen crazy world. Every chemical, you can't even pronounce it. Your body thinks that's estrogen. Water bottles, estrogen. Everywhere, you can't get away from it. You can do the best you can, but unless you're leaving the planet, you're not getting away from it. So that elevates estrogen. And it's all about balance, okay? So thanks for the question, Donna. Louise. Okay, a few more here. I'd like to know what Dr. Martin thinks about bee products such as pollen, royal jelly, and propolis. I like them. Do they cure everything from warts on your, warts on your nose to things on your toes? Nah. On their own? Yeah, they're good. It's nature. I like them. But you got to understand there's a lot of fluff out there. Okay, so just, when they tell you that it cures everything, run. Run. Unless someone's telling you to drink coffee. Cures everything. Okay. Okay. Trudy, can I eat dulse on the reset? Dulse. What is that? I haven't heard that word in a century, it seems. Dulse. Can you eat it? Is it eggs, meat, and cheese? No? Well, then don't. Wait till after the reset. Okay. Honestly, I mean it, and I'm glad you brought it up, Trudy, because I haven't heard the word dulse in so long, I don't even remember the last time. Okay? Jeanette, what does Dr. Martin think of liposomal glutathione? Well, I love glutathione. Your body makes glutathione, especially when you eat steak. Did you know that? And especially when your liver is clean. It's not the Costco parking lot full of fat. Okay? When you empty out your liver, you're going to make more glutathione. Now, there seems to be good research on liposomal glutathione. Okay? But the jury's still out. I got to see more. Okay? Do I like glutathione as a supplement? I never did, because I always felt you could not, it wasn't absorbable. So, companies, they make these claims, glutathione, and I used to go, your body ain't going to absorb that. You're better off eating a steak than spending money on a supplement of glutathione. Now, liposomal means they put it with a fat molecule, a lipid molecule, and now it can get past that digestive tract. Maybe. Okay, thanks for the questions. Gail, can I explain triglycerides and how it affects the liver and how A1C impacts our body? Well, Gail, listen, that's me every day, just about. What do I like in blood work? I want to see your triglycerides, okay? 3 fat balls. Now, your body makes triglycerides. But if they get too high, and the only way triglycerides get high is if my name is Tony and I'm a carboholic. That's how you get triglycerides high. But I need to see 2 numbers. I need to see your triglycerides and HDL. Don't send me your triglycerides on their own. And don't send me all your cholesterol levels. I don't care. And you can't make me care. Dr. Martin, my total cholesterol. I don't care. Dr. Martin, my LDL. I don't care. Here's what I care about. Your triglycerides. When your liver is full of fat, not from fat, but from sugar and crappy carbs, the Costco parking lot gets full, and it sends more triglycerides into the bloodstream, and the triglycerides that are in your bloodstream can't come back to the liver to be metabolized. Now they become dangerous. It's not cholesterol, it's triglycerides. As a matter of fact, you need cholesterol. You need cholesterol, it's on your side. You need high cholesterol. Medicine says you need low cholesterol. I'm sorry, they're wrong. Blaming cholesterol for heart disease is like blaming the police because they're at the crime scene. Of course they're traveling through your blood vessels. What do you think cholesterol does? Don't blame the police for crime. Don't blame the firemen for fires. They're there to help. They're there to try and take your triglycerides out of your bloodstream. Those 3 fat balls. Triglycerides. Okay, Gail? I could give you a lot more, but if you listen to my podcast, I just about every day I talk about that stuff. And A1C tells me, triglycerides and HDL tell me what's happening in your liver and then into your blood vessels. And A1C tells me whether you have insulin resistance or not. And if it's anything 5.3 and up, and there's new research showing even lower than that, you got insulin resistance and you and carbs don't get along. Someone sent me their blood work and I said, hey, I did the reset and my A1C went up by 1 point or whatever. You did the reset, you maybe should be doing it again. And plus, you and carbs don't get along. That's all you have to, that's what I tell people. Look, you and carbs don't get along. So when you come off the reset, the best thing you ever did was go on the reset. But now you found out, and you know, you and carbs don't get along. You got a bad relationship. Okay? So be very careful. How long, Doc? The rest of your life. Do you have to be on the reset the rest of your life? No. But you and carbs don't get along. I mean, it's just the way it is. You got insulin resistance, and it's, you know, usually can be fixed in 30 days. But sometimes your body is more stubborn than somebody else's. You know, what can I tell you? Okay, couple more, let's get going. I'm having so much fun. Celine, can you talk about BO, body odor? Why does it become prominent during times of stress for many women? Well, look, I mean, there's some things that go on there. You know, hormonal changes can certainly affect that, and some people are more susceptible to others. I love probiotics. I always start on the inside out. But you know what? If that's what's going on, you got to take care of it. And you know, if you do everything right, and you still got BO, well, take care of it. You know, what can I tell you? Okay, but like I said, I'm an inside-out guy. Inside-out guy. Okay, Susan. My blood sugar is 5.73 after eating eggs, meat, and cheese. I feel okay. What should it be? Who cares? I don't care about your blood sugar. I care about your A1C. I'm not big on blood sugar. Well, if after you eat, your blood sugar is going to go up, so what? It doesn't go up that much, especially when you're eating the right thing. Have a bowl of oatmeal and see what your blood sugar goes up to. Okay? Often 20. But you got insulin to bring it back down. But the idea is if you have insulin resistance, you haven't fixed it yet. So I'm not big on blood sugar. I really, I don't like monitoring it all the time. Some people, they go crazy with that. They drive me crazy with that. You'll drive yourself crazy with blood sugar. Okay? I'm not saying never take it. I'm just saying, okay. Sherry, what can a person do besides low carb, exercise, and drink water to get blood pressure down? Well, I like Navital. Because it opens up your blood vessels with nitric oxide. I like vitamin D for blood pressure. I like the sun for blood pressure. Viderma. That's what I like. And you know, you want to make your blood vessels less sticky, which can elevate your blood pressure. Oil. Take so much oil. Good oil. Okay? Fish oil. I don't mind olive oil. Okay? Olive oil. Coconut oil. Lubricate. Okay? And remember, eggs, meat, and cheese lubricate you. They do. They up your oils. They up your DHA. They up your dairy. Has ALA. I like that. And they lubricate your blood vessels. Okay, Gene, I had an infection in my big toe and it cleared up now, but I have fungus. Okay, fungus inside out. Okay, probiotics. Open up a probiotic, just like I was saying in the rash. You can get a Q-tip to get underneath that nail and put a little bit of powder or probiotic on it with a little mixture of maybe olive oil or coconut oil or Rivera and a little bit of probiotic and a little bit of oil of oregano, and then put it under the nail. But take that stuff internally too. Inside, out. Okay? Big time for fungus. You got to get rid of them. And Cindy, okay, POTS syndrome. Okay, that's, what do they call that? POT again. Postural tachycardia syndrome. Okay? It's no fun. Often happens after a virus, a trauma, infection. I mentioned viral, can be bacterial. After a pregnancy, stand up quickly, dizziness, fatigue, exercise induced. It's no fun. But again, here's what I've done over the years with POTS, okay? I am big on leaving POTS over here and getting your body in the best of shape. The first thing you do is start with food. Do I find it help? Very helpful. Get all your inflammation markers down. B12, vitamin D, get those biomarkers up. It's amazing what happens. Eat well, okay? And it can be very effective in the treatment of POTS, okay? And hormonal too, okay? Cindy, Colette, Baker cyst behind the knee, inflammation formula. You want to try Rosie's trick? I gave that to the other day. If you got a real painful something, very painful, 14, this is Rosie's trick, okay? 14 inflammation formula for 3 days, a day. 14 a day for 3 days. Hammer that inflammation down. Thousands have tried Rosie's trick and they found it worked. So try it with a Baker cyst, okay? Because that can be very painful. In behind the knee. Val, would 1 teaspoon of coffee daily too much? Monk fruit? No. No, you can do that. If you gotta have your little bit of monk fruit, if you gotta have a little bit of stevia, you know what? I'm not gonna bark at you, okay? I don't know why you don't like your coffee black without anything in it, bud. Everyone's different. Okay? Yeah, I allow that. Okay. I want you to succeed. I don't want you to fail. I don't want no artificial, though. I don't want artificial stuff. Gestational diabetes, how to prevent it? Well, listen, it's food. And pregnancy, of course, is, all bets are off in pregnancy, right? Because it's hard to, I'm big on keeping insulin down. And if you only knew how good that was for baby, when mommy is carrying eggs, and more eggs. Meat, and more meat. Cheese, baby will love you. And one of the things, okay, that I put people on the insulin formula too during pregnancy to help them. Okay? And Sandra, last question. Wondering why when I go to bed I hear my heartbeat. You got a big heart, Sandra. You got a big heart. No. Sometimes that can be a sign of anemia. Sometimes that can be a sign of low ferritin and low B12. So have that checked. Okay? You might be low in iron. And you sometimes hear that boop, 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 boop. I found that to be very common in anemia. Borderline anemia. Okay? Okay, guys. Thanks for coming on a Saturday morning. We appreciate it big time. Okay? We do. Got a great week coming. So stay tuned. Okay? And we love you dearly. We'll talk to you soon.